Hey folks, there was a debate that became pretty viral last month. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that debate. I strongly suggest you to do that. By last count, it had about 9 million views, so it's pretty popular. And its popularity also soared after a lot of reaction videos were made in response to that original debate. And I watched that debate about 20 days after it got aired on YouTube. And I have to say that I was pretty disappointed with the debate because I'm an atheist. I think all you folks know that I'm an atheist. And I felt that Javed Akhtar, who argued on the side of atheism, didn't do justice to the platform he was given. I was also disappointed because he did a great job arguing atheism against Sadhguru about 4 or 5 years ago. But this time, somehow, I felt he didn't do a good job at all because he came unprepared. He looked washed out. He kind of looked pissed off also a bit. I don't know why. But on the other hand, an Islamic scholar, a Mufti who argued on the side of theism or believers, he came prepared. He put up a good argument, I would say, even though the arguments had a lot of logical fallacies. But essentially, the reason he came out on top because he controlled the narrative really well. He kind of um, narrowed down the scope of the whole debate. He didn't really go into all kinds of topics, and he controlled it really well. So the Mufti made a very interesting opening statement. Right at the beginning, the Mufti said, and that's something I was kind of pretty surprised by. He set for himself an ambitious goal. He said that he's going to prove the existence of God only using science and logic. Now, think about it, right? It's, in my opinion, it's impossible to prove the existence of God using science and logic. You have to use theology or religious scripture. You have to use blind faith. But when he made that claim, I was all ears. I was like, okay, let's see what he's going to say. So before we get into what the Mufti postulated, let me say one thing straight. Whenever you guys, if at all, you guys want to argue with anybody about the existence of God, whether you are on the side of atheism or theism, do one thing. You have to agree to a definition of God. The problem, if you don't agree to a definition of God, is that the believers tend to move the goalpost. So, what do I mean by that? They try to redefine God right during the debate that is convenient to their argument. So, I'll give you an example. So, let's say, as an atheist, you try to show that the cause of the Big Bang is some kind of a quantum fluctuation field. Theists will immediately jump on it and say like, well, whatever you say as a field, that is God. So don't allow them to do that. There is a definition of God as per the dictionary, and you have to stick to it. So what is that standard definition of God as agreed upon by most people in this world and by all major religions? It is that God is this creative being that is all powerful, all knowing, all seeing, who created this universe with a specific purpose in mind. Humans are the centerpiece of his creation, and he oversees our lives. He rewards us, he punishes us, he hears our prayers, and he has a special place for us after our death. Okay, so that's the standard definition of God. So now keep that aside. Let's get into the meat of the Mufti's arguments. So Mufti invokes two philosophical concepts to try to logically and scientifically prove the existence of God. So these two concepts are infinite regress and the contingency argument. So let's talk about infinite regress first. So whenever there is a debate between theists and atheists, the believers or the theists say everything in this universe needs to be created. There has to be a creating mechanism or a creator for everything in this universe. For example, if you take a tree, the reason the tree exists because a seed was planted a long time ago. I exist here because my parents met many years ago. So if you go like that logically, every planet, every star, everything in this universe owes its existence to something before that, to a cause that created it. And they say the universe itself needed a creator, and that creator being is God. Typically, at this point, the atheist jumps in and says that if you say that the universe needs a creator and it cannot exist all by itself, I say that even your God needs a creator. And the creator of your God also needs a creator, and so on and so forth. So you have an infinite chain of creator beings or creator gods. So that's called infinite regress. Typically, theists or believers say, and they kind of invoke logic and science here and say, infinite regress is a physical impossibility. It's also a logical impossibility. There cannot be an infinite chain of creator beings or infinite anything for that matter. And so here they invoke the contingency argument. So, what does the contingency argument say? It says that since everything is okay, so it starts with this, everything is contingent upon something else for its existence. So, like I said, right, I owe my existence to my parents, so on and so forth. And they say, since infinite regress is impossible, as per the contingency argument, there has to be a beginning uncaused first cause. Okay? So, as per the contingency argument, there has to be something called a necessary being, also called the first cause, also called the uncaused cause. And that necessary being or uncaused first cause that enabled the creation of this universe is what we call God. Okay? So, those two are Mufti's points in his opening statement. And he says that using infinite regress and the contingency argument, I have proved to you the necessity of the existence of God. Okay? Okay, so as an atheist and as a rational person, I can buy into both the concepts. Infinite regress being impossible, even though mathematically actually it's not, but let's for argument's sake agree that infinite regress is physically impossible. Let me also agree to the point that the contingency argument holds good, that there has to be an uncaused first cause that enabled the creation of this universe. Okay, but here is where the Mufti makes a massive leap of faith. What did he actually prove? He only proved the existence of an uncaused first cause. He never proved the existence of a being, all powerful, all knowing, all seeing, a being with agency and intention. He never proved that. He never proved God. He only proved the existence of an uncaused first cause. And what I say is that, and as per most scientists, that uncaused first cause that enabled the Big Bang is a quantum fluctuation field or an inflation field that has no attributes, that has no intention and no agency and no feelings, and it has no purpose. Least of all human beings as its primary purpose. Okay, so essentially what the Mufti tried to do is clever wordplay. He came up with these great concepts in philosophy and science, and then he brought in God and then did this leap of faith and said like, hey, I proved God. So we are not fools here, but I guess Javed Akhtar did became a fool right then and there. He should have ended the argument immediately. He should have wrapped up the debate in about 5 minutes. All he should have said was, well, you only proved the existence of an uncaused cause and not God. Thank you very much. Anyway, there were a lot more great points, but those are for a different video. I would definitely like to talk about those other points. Those are all very interesting philosophical and logical points. But for now, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for listening to me.